everybody. This is Will Murphy coming to you from Mac Lighting in Los Angeles. I'm joined today by my colleague, Kat Covell.
Hey, Will Murphy.
Hey, sorry about the short 5-minute delay here as we got started. Happens sometimes. So today's kickoff topic is cloning. Maybe we'll talk about cloning the whole time for 45 minutes. However, this is a typical tech talk, so if you have any general MA questions, feel free to ask them here. There's a whole slew of cloning related topics. We can't teach you all of them. Cloning is an ongoing learning process related to whether you're on tour, whether you're programming, whether you're trying to copy data, etc. There's fixture swapping, all the above. We're more interested in hearing your questions about cloning. I'll give you a little general overview of it, and then we'll start diving into some questions. So be ready to type those out. Maybe give us some scenarios that you're in where you think it might be useful. Cool. So what's the purpose of cloning? Well, cloning is used to call it, say, mirror data from a source object to a destination object. So if you've already created a queue with fixture 101 and you want fixture 102 to do the exact same thing in that queue, you would clone it. This prevents you from having to do an at copy in the programmer. So what's an at copy? Well, if I put, ignore that. If I put this fixture 101 at 100% and I make it green, this is in my programmer. If I want 102 to do the same thing, you don't use cloning. You say, I want fixture 102 at fixture 101. This is known as the at copy feature. It does not use the copy keyword.
And this is destination at source.
Yeah, this is destination at source. Because, why? Well, you guys already know this. If you want to put a fixture at a level, you say fixture 103 at 50. If you want to put a fixture at a color, fixture 103 is selected, and you choose a color, which runs the syntax at preset 4.2. So if I want to put this at 4.3, I say at preset 4.3, and it puts it in yellow. If I want 103 to look like another fixture, I say at fixture 101. So this is why it's destination at source. Now this is objects in the actual program. You put fixtures at a level. The copy key, on the other hand, is about copying object data. You want to copy queues, copy Q1 at Q10. Uses this copy keyword, this move keyword, and this delete keyword. This is related to objects. Presets are objects. So if I want to copy this preset here, I'm copying the source object preset 4.2 at destination location 4.18. Why am I telling you this? Because at copy is different than the copy keyword. At copy with the at key is for fixtures in your programmer. Copy key is for objects such as queues or presets, whereas cloning is for already stored data, or fixture data that has already been stored. So very simple example of this. I'm going to select executor 1. The nice thing about this, I can see executor 1 down here. I have fixture 101 selected in yellow. I'll put it at 100%. And I'm going to put it in object in orange. By the way, I'm going to delete this duplicate preset. And I'll store this as my first queue. So this fixture data is already stored to the queue. If I wanted 102 to look like 101, I could go the long route. I could say fixture 102 at fixture 101. Now the data is in my programmer, and I need to update the queue. It takes a few steps. Instead, I could just use cloning. Now, you guys might not remember the syntax. That's okay. That's why we have the reference manual built into the desk. Cloning utilizes a different order of operations. Clone source data at destination data, because we're talking about already stored data, it's the same rules as the copy key. Copy the source object at the destination object. In the programmer, we're using the at copy, the at keyword, therefore it's destination at source. But because we're talking about already stored data, object, copy object at destination, or clone source data at destination data. So I want to clone fixture 101 at fixture 102. So I hit my copy key twice. I get my clone keyword. Fixture 101 at fixture 102. You notice every time I'm using the at keyword, remember to put the fixture identity after the at keyword. It's always good practice. So I'm cloning my source fixture 101 data at fixture 102, which doesn't have any data. And then I'm going to say if. Remember, the if keyword essentially stands for only if, so I'm saying clone fixture 101 at fixture 102. Only if executor 1. To do this, low priority merge, suddenly my queue now has 102 doing the same thing as 101 because I copied the already stored fixture data of 101 into fixture 102 in the same queue. Now I mentioned we have this help manual, right? You need help with clone? Help. It's not going to work that way. I'm going to type this in manually. Help clone. Hey, there's the syntax I just used. Explains it really nice. Clone source selection list. What is the source selection list? Somebody asked about this in the pre-registration questions. This is the fixture list. So a source selection list refers to a fixture list at destination selection list. Now this would clone 101 to 102 everywhere in your show file had I not used that if keyword. Therefore, I chose to use the if keyword. To identify a scope object list. What's an object? Well, this guy asked this in the pre-registration questions as well. A preset is an object. A queue is an object. An executor is an object. A group is an object. It's a place where objects exist. And even a fixture is considered an object of some form. So if you need help with cloning syntax, it's spelled out right here. This is a simple kind of programming tool in an individual queue. Now, where might we expand cloning? Sometimes what happens is maybe you built your show based on 6 fixtures. If we go to executor 30 here, I'm going to select this executor, consider this my existing show. And these alpha spots are in lavender, and then they're doing this stuff. And suddenly you get to a venue, and they have 6 more alpha spots for you to use. This is where cloning becomes helpful because I will add 6 more alpha spots. 107 will be the starting number. There's 6 more. And now I want my original 6 alpha spots to do what my new alpha spots. I want my original 6 alpha spots. No, I want my new alpha spots. Sorry, my new alpha spots to do the same thing as my existing alpha spots. So we'll do this at 7. They'll auto-numerate for me. You'll notice if you run these queues, 107 through 112 aren't doing anything. So this is where I might use clone, but I would do a complete show clone. Because right now if I select my alpha spots group, it only selects the first 6. I want it to select all 12. So I'll say clone fixture member source at destination. So clone fixture 101 through 106 at fixture, well, let's see, where are these hung? If they're hung downstage, upstage of each other, so 106 and 101 are in front of each other, 101 and 107 are in front of each other, then I'll do fixture 101 through 106 at fixture 107 through 112. That means 101 and 107 do the same thing, 102 and 108 do the same thing. But what if 101 through 106 are now hung stage right, and 107 through 112 are hung stage left? Well, maybe I want to mirror them. Therefore, at fixture 112 through 107, I'm going to reverse that selection order. Therefore, 101 and 112 do the same thing. 102 and 111 do the same thing. And because they're hung from stage right to stage left, I get a nice mirror. When I hit please, it doesn't work. What did I do wrong? Oh, I used the copy keyword. That's a mistake. Well, I can use the up arrow on my keyboard, change this word to clone so I don't have to type it all in again. Then we'll try this. So, in this case, I did not use the if keyword. And what happens in this situation is it takes you to the cloning menu, which is actually something that's available in setup, which I'll show you in a minute. But the nice thing about the cloning menu is it shows me how the data is mapping. 101 is data is going to 112, 102 data is going to 111. So I have a nice little confirmation here of how the data is being copied over. I'm going to prepare, I don't want to copy this in my layouts, clone this in my layouts, so I will say no. I don't want to clone this in my world, so I'll say no. For everything else, yes. If you want specific sequences, I could actually choose them, but I want to do all. When it comes to presets, you can choose the preset type. So maybe you only want to clone dimmer, position, and gobo. Hold your control key on your keyboard to highlight multiple of these. Or you can, of course, lasso them if they happen to be in order. But I want to do it everywhere. And you also have a command filter if you'd like to limit specific. If you want to do it with just tilt, you could. Or you could exclude color wheel and CTO. It's up to you.
I'd say gobo wheel.
Or gobo wheel. Yeah.
Gobo wheel and color wheel.
Gobo wheel, yeah, if they're different fixture types, I would exclude gobo and color wheel. These are actually the same fixture type, so it's okay. So we're doing all sequences, groups, presets, and effects. We're going to do the clone. That's an interesting little pop-up. Low priority merge is your safest option. That says if my destination fixtures, 107 through 112, do not have data at the destination location, then I will put them there. If the fixture has color data at the existing location and you just want to clone the dimmer data, you would choose merge. What that does is that says, okay, I'm not going to touch any existing attributes that already exist in that destination location, but I am going to add new attribute data. And then you have the override option. Override says if 107 through 112 already exist in those locations, completely delete them and only copy the data from the source fixtures. So usually low priority merge is your safest. These three buttons, guess what? They're explained in the help manual I just showed you, so you can go read about those. So now I hit go. Oh, 107 through 112 for now. All in lavender. That's nice. And there's 104. Oh yeah, look at it. Yeah, because I mirrored it, it looks like it was meant to be. Whereas if I had done them in parallel, 101, let's see if we go back. All right, watch how 106 and 107 go orange first. If I had mirrored them, it would be 106 and 112 going orange, and then it would look weird, unless they were like hung upstage, downstage of each other. And if I grab this group, they're all selected. So very cool, very handy. That's cloning. Somebody also asked about fixture swapping. So remember, cloning is about you get to a venue and they hand you some extra lights. You can clone them to your show. I'm going to delete these. Fixture swapping is if you plan to permanently change the type of fixture. So if you have a show that's broken, you plan to suddenly you don't have alpha spots anymore, they kind of make you use, I don't know, Mac 2K. If it's a permanent replacement to a Mac 2K, then maybe you should do a fixture swap. So we lasso all of these, we right click, I'm going to find my Martin 2000 profile, I choose import. So I'm doing a complete fixture swap because forever it will now be Martin's from now on. What is this weird pop-up? This only applies if you're going from LED to CMY fixture or color wheel to color mix fixture or vice versa. If the source and the destination fixture both are the same attribute, do not transform, because CMY to a CMY fixture, it's going to work. RGB to a CMY fixture is going to work because they're theoretically the same attribute. Now, if you want to go from a RGB to a 7-color Celador, then yes, you should transform. So, it's if you're going between different kinds of color attributes. If they're the same, do not transform. So from an alpha spot to a Martin, they're both CMY fixtures, so I'm going to say do not transform. And now I accidentally left them labeled alpha spot, but they still work, even though they're now Martin fixtures. So these Sharpies, which are color wheels, if you're swapping these out for a CMY fixture, then yes, you would choose transform. Okay? So, that's a general kind of explanation of cloning and fixture swapping. I think maybe now you realize you could talk about this topic for a very long time. So, I guess there's some questions, Kat.
There's quite a few.
Love to hear them and try to solve them.
I'm just going to go right down the line here. So remember, when you sign up, we ask you to ask a question. So if you ask a question, we might get to it. So very first question we have, is there a way to clone color wheel values to a fixture that uses some sort of color mixing system and vice versa?
Yeah, because I can't remember. So I have a Sharpie here. Red. I think this is not possible. We're going to try. I'm going to go back and select my second executor. So we're going to store this. So now my first cue is dark red. Now we're going to try clone fixture 201 to my alpha spot. I think this doesn't work because the alpha spot actually has a colored wheel. I forgot something. We need to hold the at key at this phase. I'm going to say there's an option down here for mix color. Choose just RGB. I don't think this works. You stumped me. I didn't mean to do that. Let's see, if executor 2. Yeah, this does not work because the alpha spot has a color wheel in it. Therefore, the console is trying to go to the existing color wheel that already exists. However, I'm hoping that your question is related to going from a color wheel fixture to a fixture that does not have a color wheel, and I believe this does work. I'm going to put these in a world just so we can see what we're doing. Dummy world 999. So go to world 999, and now we can see my 201 is a Sharpie. I want to clone this to 401, which is strictly an LED. Nope, did this wrong. Clone fixture 201 at fixture 401 is executor 2. Yeah. Haha. Do you see this? This is magic. So, if you're going from a color wheel fixture only, a color wheel only fixture, to a fixture that has a color wheel in it, it's going to clone to the destination color wheel. In this instance, though, I'm going from a color wheel Sharpie to an LED, which is just RGB. Therefore, the cloning does work. And the same rules are going to generally apply for fixture swapping. Therefore, if you are trying to do the first example, where I want to take this Sharpie and turn it into a mixed color for alpha spot. Can you guess what the magical trick is? Do you know, Kat?
What magical trick are you looking for?
I want to get this color wheel value into the mixed color of alpha spot 101. But I obviously explained this doesn't work in one step. Therefore, very easy trick. I'm going to patch a Sharpy Wash.
Can't you just look up the values that are in the fixture profile itself? Because the color, within your color wheel, it shows you the values of your RGB. Isn't that why it's working? Isn't that why it's cloning back and forth?
Yeah, you could.
Wash fixtures?
If you really wanted to look this up, you could go into the Sharpie and edit the wheel manager, and then you would see 114.00. There you go. Type these in, or actually 45.00 in percentage. So you can select your alpha spots.
I want to see your convoluted way, though. Let's see it.
I don't have. I just realized. Let me backtrack on what I was saying before. You don't have to patch a dummy fixture. Stupid. I already cloned. I cloned the data into fixture 401, right? Which is just a simple LED data. So now, why don't I clone fixture 401? Clone fixture 401 at fixture 101 if executor 2. There we go. So now, my Sharpie now exists as fixture 101. So I went through a dummy LED, for example. So if you're trying to do this, yeah, I guess we're missing a shortcut to go directly. We can certainly, I mean, we have this on the wish list. I know this, so we have this on the wish list for future improvement. But at the time, I've got 6 Sharpies, which are color wheels, so I will patch 6 dummy LED fixtures, clone from the color wheel to the LEDs, and then I can clone the LEDs to the alpha spot.
Those are some good steps.
Yeah. There's always a magical trick to get the job done in MA land. All right, sorry, I just broke everybody's brain. While we move on to the next one.
This is why you have 2 of us, so you can see the multiple ways of doing everything. Looks like we've answered a couple of these questions. I can't really understand that one. Let's see. Cloning to instances. Is there any specific rules we need to go over?
Yeah, so I've had some instance fixtures here so you could see them. There's nothing magical about instance fixtures in MA land, a thing I keep telling everybody over and over. These are individual fixtures. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 are individual fixtures. You cannot clone. You probably will not have happy success cloning 201 to fixture 301. This just doesn't quite work the way that you probably imagined it. And we're actually, let's see what happens. Clone fixture 201 at fixture 301. I actually don't remember. Oops. If executor 2, what happens in this case? Yeah, this is nice. This actually works nicely. I wonder if this works if these are rainbow values. I guess I don't totally understand where the pitfalls are with multi-instance fixtures, other than a lot of people don't realize that the dots are just your typical kind of fixture. So What do we update? Q1. Cool. I think what happens now if I clone fixture 301 at fixture 302? I think this still works. Fixture 301. I keep forgetting to say clone at fixture 302 if executor 2. Yeah, that actually does the cloning for you. The trick with instances is if you have something like, why don't we do this kind of rainbow across these 6 fixtures, yet your instances are, we have 12 of those. So I'm going to select a new executor, 3. Store this as a new queue. Off all my pages, go into Q1, and let's see if I can draw another fixture sheet so we could try to see what I'm going to do here. I want, dot 2 through dot 6 to look like 101. So I will clone fixture 101 at fixture 301.2 through 301.6 if executor 3. And now the dot 2 through the dot 6 are doing everything that 101 was doing. And then I may do clone fixture 102 at dot 7 through dot 12. So in my history of tech support questions, most people think instances are some magical thing when it comes to cloning. Instead, there's 13 fixtures here. They just happen to start with 301 and end with a decimal point number. So if you're doing cloning, if you know how to clone fixture 101 at 102, then you know how to clone instances. You just have to pay attention to which attributes are in which instance. For example, 301.1 doesn't have any RGB attributes. So make sure you're not including that in your cloning process. But since these color force instances are the same, I can still use whole numbers. So I could say clone fixture 301 at fixture 302 through 306 if executor 2. Oops, I meant executor 3. There we go. So now they're basically red, orange, red, orange, red, orange, red, orange. I don't want to remove this. I could say, please, store Q1, remove. And now my alpha spots are not in the queue anymore. Cool.
Awesome.
I hope that answered instances question. They're just more fixtures.
I think we just need to do a webinar on instance fixtures there, Will. I think that's what you just proved.
Suppose. I think they're easy, but I guess that's just me.
All right. Well, yeah. This is a really interesting one. And I think it depends on the fixture type we're talking about here, the fixture features. Hey Will, how can I delete all my fade times on color information in my queues going from a CMY fixture to a color wheel only fixture? So I wouldn't think you'd have to delete the fade time since color wheel usually snaps. Just going to snap instead of obey fade time.
If you're using, if you have individual fade time, then it's going to fade no matter what. If you don't have individual fade time, but your color wheel is still fading, and you don't want it to, normally in the fixture profile, color wheel, for example, we have this thing called snap, and this is on. And this says, ignore queue fade time, which means your wheels will snap. Now, if you have individual fade time stored to the queue, your color wheels are still going to scroll. Select executor 4. Off all the pages. we'll just look at this color wheel. What do we say? Why don't we say? Oh, so confused. I forgot I swapped these from Martin Fixtures. If we go to the DMX layer, and I say go, this wheel is fading through the DMX, this color wheel, which is because in the Martin 2K profile, the color wheel snap is off. I'm going to turn that on. I want to rename these so I don't keep confusing myself. These are now MA2Ks. Now, if I run the same queue, watch this DMX snaps to 31. Okay. Now, if I don't want that to snap, on this particular queue, I can go to fade and I can say, hey, I want you to take 10 seconds. I update the queue. And turn this off. And now this is going to take 10 seconds because on the value layer, I can see the fade time is 10 seconds, which means it's taking a long time. Now, you could do a store remove. You select these the same way I put 10 seconds in there. I could say remove, and I could update the queue. However, sometimes it's easier to use the tracking sheet because I can go to the fade layer. And if I just want to remove this value here, I can right click on that cell and say remove individual fade for the selection. Or I can lasso 3 of these and say remove individual fade for the selection. Or I can right click and say remove individual fade for the selected cues, or complete. So I'll say complete, which removes all individual time for all attributes everywhere. Ooh, maybe that's not my favorite thing to do because what if I had dimmer in here? And I'll say dimmer 75 with fade 20, and we'll update the queue. And now this has individual fade of 20. And if I want to just kick it out for color wheel, it's going to take a long time. Can't say complete. This is why I love worlds. If you've never used the world tool, you should. Love them. So handy. The way worlds work is they follow your selection, and if you actually have an activated attribute, they will follow this as well. So I'll pick a random value, store a world. Now when I go into this world, I only have access to color wheel data. So now in the tracking sheet, I could say remove individual fade, complete. Don't forget to go back to the full world. And you can see, hey, dimmer still has individual fade time of 20 seconds. That's a quick way you kick out all your fade values, or the long-winded way, or I'm sure there's other ways. I could happily show you if I could think of them right now. Okay?
Cool. I have a good one for you here. Since you're on the topic of world, say you have a MA2K that has lamp commands in the beam preset type, and you want to clone a Sharpy Wash with lamp commands in the control preset type. Is there a way to pull lamp information out aside from strobe information, also in the beam preset type? I imagine when you do the clone, you're going to use a filter. If you're cloning preset to preset.
Oh, you want to exclude the shutter information in the clone?
Yeah, the lamp command.
You're not going to be able to exclude a specific range in the clone. You can exclude the entire shutter attribute, which if we did a clone, just to show you the through 106 at fixture 201 to 206 prepare, you would use the command filter and you would exclude shutter. Now the shutter didn't exist anywhere. you want to get really crazy, we could try replace. I don't know if this would work. So, I don't know, shutter lamp on?
We happen to have some MAC2Ks and we happen to have some Sharpies, so
I know. We'll try this. I don't
work.
know. I've never tried this before. We could try a replace. I feel like it's not going to work. I mean, I can replace the whole attribute. Oops. I had a filter active when I stored that. I don't think you can replace a range of a specific attribute with a range of another attribute, but it's a very good question that I am happy to investigate. Where's that? 91. And Sharpy lamp control is 100. Okay, here goes nothing. Replace Fixture 101 attribute shutter at 90. No. Yes, this is the right syntax with Fixture 201 attribute. I don't think this works. It's not going to work. It's a very cool idea, but this is not going to work. Yeah, you have to use our long-winded replace syntax. You have to do a dummy fixture, and I can actually make this work. We were just doing this last week. You have to clone. You're not going to be able. You can replace values with values. You can replace attributes with attributes. You cannot replace attribute values with different attribute values. That's the issue here. So just to show you what I can do, if I say replace Fixture 101 attribute shutter with Fixture 201 attribute lamp control, now you can see that I'm going to turn off. Can I turn off feature sort so we can see both of these at the same time? The shutter value for the MAC2K no longer exists and now has been replaced with the Fixture 201 lamp control attribute. The problem is it's not quite what you want because you still want to preserve your source shutter data. And this is where you have to use dummy fixtures. So essentially, I make a duplicate of the MAC2K profile. Go into this. I delete all the attributes, but shutter. Dummy 2K. And then I patched 6 of these. We'll say 1,000. I'm going to blow some minds. People are always mind blown when I show them this interesting thing. We're going to clone Fixture 101 through 106 at Fixture 1001 through 1006 if attribute shutter well, that syntax did not work. Maybe I can't say attribute shutter. That's okay. We're just going to work and execute a 5 times. There we go. Now, your MAC2K original shutter data, 91. Destination shutters are here, right? And now, I'm going to say replace Fixture 1001 attribute shutter with Fixture 201 through 206 attribute lamp control. I need to do a range, people. Come on. Through 1006. There we go. Now my dummy fixtures are not in those queues anymore, and instead somewhere. Where's the lamp control? Ah, there it is. So the Sharpies. Now I have it. So now you can clone 101 through 106 shutter at the Sharpies, then you can do this little replace. So now your lamp control exists in those same locations as well. And then of course you still have to do a little bit of cleanup. For example, now I can do a replace. The value is not exactly 91. 91.016. Therefore, calling 91 is not going to work. So let me try this original syntax that we were trying. Replace fixture 201 through 206, attribute, lamp control. This is why I do something like 90 through 92 at 100. That doesn't work. With keywords. There we go. Now it works. So my original syntax would have worked had I known that the value was not really 91. It was 91.016, which I could actually type that in exactly if I wanted to. Okay, there we go. I don't even know what the original question was. It's all possible, right? We reached it.
All right. Real quick.
Dummy fixtures, get used to them.
Real quick, what key were you using again to grab your syntax that you had just typed?
Replace?
No, your up key, your arrow key.
Oh, the up key.
Yeah.
Yeah, on your keyboard. Open your internal keyboard, the up and down keys. Toggle you through your existing syntax. Yeah. Always a solution. I haven't been fully stumped yet.
No, that's true. That's true.
Always a way.
We're fully stumped, but that was fun. It was fun little workarounds. I think that was the end of cloning questions. Let me try to get back through here again. Well, this is, I don't know if it's cloning.
We're just waiting on some other exciting questions.
Well, we do have one more cloning one, it looks like. After cloning, do you have independent control of the cloned fixture for changing it, like position?
Yeah, of course. It's just another fixture in your show. We're moving data. We're not mirroring. They're not really linked in any physical way. All you're saying is that I want this dimmer value from the source fixture, and now I want the destination fixture to have that dimmer value. That's it. They have no connection to each other at all, except for that one little snippet of time where you hit the please key and the data is being copied.
There seems to be a lot of questions about best practices, Will. Do you feel like we've gone over a lot of your best practice suggestions?
Yeah. By the way, I didn't tell you this cloning GUI is available in the setup menu. The way this works is that you can, if your source data is this, you select those and you say take selection. If your destination fixtures are this, you select them and then you take selection. You can go one-to-one or one-to-many. You obviously cannot go many down to one. So we take selection. So for example, I could do fixture 101, take selection to 201 through 206, and this is where you have a one-to-many. So what are best practices? I covered them earlier. I mean, if the fixtures are in line on your stage, then 101 to 201. If they're stage left, stage right, then you mirror across. you have to practice. I mean, this is very much about practice. I've been practicing cloning for 6 years, which is why it looks like I know what I'm doing, yet I still get stumped. Okay, you have to practice. It's not easy. It's data management. This is the job of the programmer. I was talking to some guys last week. They almost looked dumbfounded when I said, your job as a programmer is data management. You're not doing lighting. That's the designer's job. Now, some of you are designers and programmers simultaneously, which means you take on 2 roles. But as a programmer, you're managing Excel sheets, a gajillion Excel sheets of data. So if you want to take data from one place and put it in another place, this is where you can use cloning. Take data from one set of fixtures or specific attributes or something and put them in a destination. And there is going to be some cleanup work. It's just part of the process. That's where you got to practice with filters and cloning specific objects and your if button. I had thought of something just real quick. I did this example with clone where I think it was Executor 3. Executor 3? No, was it Executor 4? It was the color. It's the color related stuff. I had done the if down to the executor level, and I'll just show you this again. Dark. What's this dark red from? A Sharpie?
Yeah, Sharpie.
Yeah, this dark red from the Sharpie. I'm going to select a new executor. Select executor 6. And what was it? Fixture 201 and 401. Store World 99. Overwrite World 99. I just want to show you. I had cloned 201, which is currently referencing a preset, to Fixture 401, but I did an if executor. So maybe you all thought that was cool. Clone Fixture 201 at Fixture 401 if executor 6. That's great. Now the destination fixture is red as well, but do you notice the problem here is that your destination fixture is no longer referencing the preset, which might not make you very happy. And this is where your if only or your if keyword becomes really important to pay attention to. Instead, in this case, if I really want to get specific, I would do something like preset. I would either go into my clone menu and clone all my presets first and then go into the queue level. Sometimes the best practice is a multi-step process so you understand how you're managing your data. So I might do all my color presets, and now I could go back and clone on Executor 6, and you'll see now it's referencing the preset instead of the hard value. So pay attention to your references as well. What's referencing what? So I guess the best practice, if you want me to pull something and say something, is take it step by step. Don't walk into a show and just clone. Everything blows up in your face. You know, take it step by step. Do your presets first, then do your groups first, and then do your presets, and then do your executors or down to your queues. You know, make some decisions about it. Is that cool?
Yeah.
We're definitely over time.
We are.
I don't know if there's any extra last minute quirky questions.
No, it looks like the rest of these questions aren't really about cloning, so if you do have questions that you really need answered, don't forget, support@acolyting.com. We will be happy to answer your questions outside of webinars as well.
Yeah. And keep in mind, you guys, we asked the pre-registration questions so we can prepare for those. There was very few this time. They were all cloning related. So remember, you can always ask post questions there that are unrelated to cloning, and we can try to make sure to fit them into the time slot. Keep in mind, if you have a very general question that could take an hour to explain, we're probably going to skip over that. No offense. But there you go. Happy programming. Have a nice day.
Happy programming.